Hi everyone. I'm just gonna wait a couple of seconds until Facebook actually puts me online. Um, First of all, I hope all of you guys are as good as, circumstances let you be. Especially for my friends and people in Israel, I really hope that you guys are finding some peace of mind. Today, I want to talk about something that if you have ever heard me speak, you know that one of my punchline, which I didn't invent, but I definitely identify with that, is that what starts with the Jews never stops with the Jews. So I actually went to an event today morning, super early, and I went with all my good vibes and things. And it's supposed to be a very welcoming circle of people where I went. And the moment I said what I'm doing and that I'm helping the Jewish community and that I'm organizing, peaceful protest against the violence and aggression and terrorism against Jews, immediately I got looks. And this is not a novelty in my life. So ever since I'm in this niche, it's something that I need to put up with. And I used to joke to someone that it takes exactly for me 2 seconds to figure out if that person who hears me what I'm doing is going to continue the conversation with me or not. I started to check this in Brussels when I was working there. And whenever I said, I work with Jews or something, and I got the look, I said, okay, I know exactly that they're not going to have a friendship with me. So I've been excluded. If you have read some of my articles, you also know that in Brussels, I oftentimes got told by HR, so human resource people, that I should take out from my resume that I was studying Hebrew or that I do anything with the Jewish communities. And it was at one of those job interviews when I stood up and I told the HR director that if this is a condition, then I definitely don't want to work for a company where I cannot say that I am going to Israel or that I have an Israeli boyfriend or whatsoever. And when I walked out of the door, I knew that this is going to be a big junction in my life. I knew that several doors were closed for me or to me or in front of me because of I feel like my common sense here. But I also felt that, okay, eventually God or the universe or someone will open different doors for me because of what I'm doing. So this happened 6, 7 years ago, and nothing really has changed since then. I just got way better of navigating my way and see which paths I want to take in life and which won't, and with whom I want to have a friendship and with whom I don't. But the irony of this situation is yet again that this seemingly very liberal group excludes me, the only person who said, I do not appreciate, to say the least, terrorism against Jews. So this amount of hypocrisy that's going on in life is so painful that I go to this event to have fun, which by the way, I did have fun because that's my character. I can just switch like this. And I even told that other person, let's just, switch gears here. And the thing is that it's always me or like my conservative friends who are like, not apologizing, but say, okay, I accept your point of view. Okay, we can talk about this in a human level. And the other side is the one always who is getting angry and anxious and irritated by the fact that I happen to be a conservative person or I happen to stand up for the Jewish people. So it is a very, very hard journey to be on. And I don't need a pity party here. I'm just sharing this because so many times when I get harassed by Jewish people, their argument is, oh, you're not Jewish, you can't get it. Well, let me tell you something. Of course, I can't get many things. Of course, I am not Jewish, and that is a fact here. But just because you were born Jewish and I am like the almost Jewish, I go through a lot of shit because I stand up for the Jewish people, or like I happen to be a Zionist person. So, such as Hitler did not, cherry pick which Jews to kill. He also killed everyone who helped the Jews, right? He killed anyone who helped the Jews. And the current society and the current atmosphere is pretty much the same. You stand with the Jews, you are cancelled the same way. So today's event again just really triggered me in that sense that it's hard to build friendships, when my whole life is surrounding the Jewish issue and Zionism. And unless the other party is Jewish, and even then, we don't know which affiliation you stand up for, but at least when someone is Jewish or someone is Israeli, I can so much better connect because we have that common bonding on something. But outside of this circle, as someone whose life is so much around this topic, it's very difficult to build friendships, sustain friendships, let alone start friendships, because I go to an event and out of 10 people, 9 will just walk away after 2 seconds because I said that. So basically the conversation went something like, oh, I'm going to California for work. Oh, what do you do? Well, I'm helping a peaceful protest because the Palestinian Arabs right now harassing the Jews in Los Angeles and in New York and all over the US. So the answer was, well, I kind of sympathize with the Palestinians. And I'm like trying to be patient, and I say, okay, but do you condemn terrorism? Do you condemn aggression and violence against Jews? Well, it all started, with the Nakba, so of course they are angry. And I'm like, can you answer the question, do you accept terrorism? No answer, obviously, but it started with the Nakba, and that I said, yeah, well, but you know that there were Jews also, and where are the Jews from the Arab lands today, and so on. So I tried to be in a very calm setup, and basically she said, yeah, but the colonization did happen. Jews got killed in Europe, hence they escaped, to Palestine and took it over. And I said, and she's a lovely, well-educated person, like really PhD and things, and I have all respect for her, and like there was another person as well. But this is the returning thing. And I said, that there was no Palestine. That's a geographical area. And there were, Palestinian Arabs, Palestinian Jews, and so on. Yeah, but the word Philistine. And I was like, you know what? Let's just enjoy this milieu here because we all came and we paid and things. I'm very happy to have an open conversation with you later. I felt she was more aggravated than I was, simply because I wanted to have a good time. And at the end, or like 5-10 minutes later, I was the one telling her that, let's just put politics aside. We all came here to have a good time. And she says, yeah, but communication is important. I said, of course. And she said, and she doesn't like people coming from a biased point of view. And I said, well, I didn't even say anything. And you already presented your case that you sympathize with the Palestinians because Jews colonized. So that's a pretty biased starting point. But anyway, we said, okay, once we sit down with a beer or like a vodka shot and, discuss this. But she at least had this desire to discuss, but so many other people just turn away. So what I keep on saying and how I started this live, what starts with the Jews, don't stop with the Jews. And if you help the Jewish community, you are grouped as one. So whatever you feel as harassment, I feel the same. And don't think that if I'm at the restaurant, just like Los Angeles, I don't know if you guys saw the news, there were Palestinian flags and guys running to restaurants asking who is Jewish here, who should we kill? So don't think that me wearing this necklace would stop them from harassing or even worse towards me. But even if I'm just, in a shul or even if I'm in a protest, I am one who sides with the Jews. So my risks are the same as yours. So I think there are a couple of bottom lines that I wanted to put here, or punch marks, but one of them is that do not ever start with this argument towards me just because I'm Jewish. I don't understand. I feel anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism and anti-Israelism on my skin every damn day, with friendships, with romantic relationships, on dates, on works and things. Everywhere I go, I feel it on me. And I consider myself absolutely blessed how after that job interview, seriously, God or the universe guided me to a working position and a career that actually makes my stand, utilized, and that I can work with Jewish NGOs. So that HR person who shuts the door on me because I was studying Hebrew can give me a favor now because, I actually ended up in a position where I can do what I love, what I believe in, what I'm passionate about, and then I can work 24 hours a day, basically. I don't do that, but I could. As opposed to, going with the mainstream and say, oh yeah, sure, I'm gonna take it out that I study Hebrew. Oh yeah, sure, just because you're a fucking big firm, I'm just gonna assimilate and do as you say. So it's always a decision. And I made my own decision. It definitely hardens my life on so many levels and on so many angles. And yes, sometimes it gets tiring, but I also feel I'm getting so much back. But one more point, and then I'm gonna wrap it up. I don't want to be a token non-Jew for anyone, and I do not appreciate, for example, then there was a friend of mine on Facebook a couple of days ago when I posted about how I stood up for that Arab kid, which is a whole different story. And she just came on my profile and bashed and name called and belittled me and spat words on me. And I said, this woman hugged me 2 weeks ago at a protest saying how much she loves me and appreciates me, and now she is like legit spitting at me just because. So I wrote to her, I don't appreciate this comment because I thought we were, friends working towards the same goal, but also, you know me for 6 years. She said, yes, but the only friend and the only thing I care for is Israel, and now you just diminish yourself. And I was like, so because you don't agree with one comment I make, everything else I did for the last 6-7 years is basically zero. It's like nothing. It doesn't count. That's fucking cancel culture. And I told her that whenever she's ready to apologize, I have no hard feelings. But I don't like this, that if you don't agree with one comment of me, you immediately bash and trash and belittle me, and nothing else matters, because I have given up so much of my life to do what I'm doing, and every day it's an opportunity cost for me, whether to have new friendships or go on a date with a guy who would not appreciate that I'm Zionist, or stand up for my own self and stand up for what I believe in. And obviously I always choose me and what I believe in, but it doesn't feel good and right for me when just because you don't agree with something, you immediately say, oh, I'm an enemy of Israel, or like I'm a this, I'm like that. Seriously, let's look at people as a coherency, and we are not here to judge each other based on snapshots, right? So if there are returning number of comments that I make that you don't like, then call me out on that, or dislike me, unfollow me, God knows what. But if I make one sentence during the last 6-7 years that you don't like, do you think it's okay publicly shame me? It's just like we are so losing our humanity that it just astonishing me and shocks me on so many levels. I try not to behave like this, and I really appreciate when people try to behave the same way towards me, because respect needs to go both ways. And just because I chose myself to put out, that I put my thoughts and myself out to the public, it doesn't mean that I am not a human being. And yes, I already have a thick skin ever since I am in this niche. And if you have been following me, you know that I was in a porn site as the Zionist whore and God knows what. So I've been having a pretty eventful journey since I am doing what I'm doing. But from this community, at least, think before you decide to name call me. And also, as I told my friend, here's the thing. When you call up someone, I know most people don't do that, but that's also shit. The first thing I always ask people, is it a good time to call you now? Because you have zero idea how you land on the other person's day, right? So when that comment arrived, I'm in the middle of my working day. I'm juggling between 6 organizations, doing a protest, came from a protest and something, and I open my laptop and all I see is like she is name calling me and spreading shit about me towards other friends. And I'm like, maybe write me a private message first, ask me why I said that or something, some human, why are we just, anyway, I think you got the message. But you never know when you start bullying someone where that other person is in her day or in his day. It just, you don't have the right to impose yourself upon another person. No matter how much you are triggered, no matter how emotional you are, it is a very sensitive time. It is sensitive time for everyone. So I try always towards my friend, but also towards strangers, I try always to ask, are you ready for me to rant now? Do you have the bandwidth or like a mental space for me to cry now or something? Anyway, so that's a little rant, but the bottom line is that what starts with the Jews never stops with the Jews. And this obviously is also showing why there are less non-Jewish person who would be this vocal like I am and many others. because it puts us in a very detrimental position in every other aspect of life. This being said, if you are in New York City, there is an upcoming protest, a peaceful protest, at the 9/11 memorial. The whole topic is that we unite against terrorism, because what's going on is terrorism. So it's by the 9/11 monumentum this Sunday. I completely forgot the hour, so I'm gonna post it. And I am flying out to Los Angeles. So in California, in Beverly Hills, there is one of the largest, at least planned, largest protest. Same topic, united against terrorism. And I really hope that if you are in either of these areas and locations, you're gonna do your part and join, because numbers are there for the optics as well. So I'm sure you saw that 20,000 people were marching with Palestinian flags and burning Israeli flags. Well, we are not going to that level, that burning anybody's flags, but I want you to show up if you are there, okay? And just a little anecdote to close how I operate. So I went to this event, and there was a politician that I just kind of glanced. His name was Zach, so I assumed he was Jewish, fine. And then I quickly asked my friend who he is, because I am not so much into New York local politics. Anyway, I Googled him. I said, okay, I like this guy and what he believes in, and he served in Iraq twice, and now he's working with guys with PTSD. So I just went to him and I said, okay, this is me, this is what I do, I want you at a rally as a speaker. He was so taken aback, I think, by my vibes or chutzpah or whatsoever. He says, sure, what time? So then I was just messaging, to the organizers, okay, we have a good person. They said we don't want him because he's running for office. And I said, I don't care. This is not a partisan issue. He's not gonna, talk about himself and his political parties. The fact that he was a victim and at least a witness of terrorist attacks several times, and someone who served in Iraq, and someone who is a Jewish politician, it matters, and we need his voice. So eventually I convinced them, and now we are making him to be the speaker. So this is how I operate. I go out to an innocent event, and it becomes such a beautiful connection between people. Anyway, that was my rant. Please do your part. Keep it always, no violence. That's all I'm asking from anyone, because I can deal with that. And keep safe, guys. That's all I can say. If you are in Los Angeles, you have a chance to meet me, and I would love to meet you if you are there. I absolutely love when I go to rallies and you guys come to say hi. Finally, I can put, faces behind the names. So please do that. I'm gonna post all the details, and see you soon. Keep safe.